Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. In today's episode, I'm joined with Millie, and it's going to be really cool because this is Millie's first podcast ever. So it's going to be awesome. We're going to speak about our chronic illness journeys, and yeah, it's going to be really really fun. So Millie, would you mind introducing yourself just to start with?
I'm Millie, I'm 25 and I have Ehlers-Danlos.
Yeah, it's gonna be really cool. I know you're very excited to do this, aren't you?
Yeah,
Yeah. So I guess to start with, if you wouldn't mind explaining what your chronic illness is a little bit.
so I have Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder. So our collagen is faulty. So that causes dislocations, problems with everything. So your skin's stretchy, your joints are stretchy. It causes problems with all your organs. So yeah,
So quite a lot of havoc.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So it can affect anything at any time, really.
Yeah, so first off, I was getting stuck. So then um I started off getting stuck and having to click my knees. Then I was told I was hypermobile. We went back to doctors and then they said you had to get proper diagnosis. So then went to rheumatology and they diagnosed me with the Ehlers-Danlos.
Oh, okay.
So
Um,
that's where that started.
is that because you couldn't click your knees? Is that how it started?
I had to click my knees,
Oh, you had
but
to.
I was getting stuck in chairs on the floor because of my back.
Okay.
And then that's when I was diagnosed.
Okay. So it are you hypermobile as well? Then.
Yeah, so I used to be able to turn my legs round and walk. So my heels would be where my toes were supposed to be, and I
Oh,
could walk like that.
that's interesting. Yeah. So I'm hypermobile as well. I've got
Mm.
hypermobility, um, and that you say that clicking is very part of that, isn't it? So it's
Yeah,
um like um I'm always clicking like me,
yeah,
yeah, but
always.
yeah, like it kind of goes with it, I guess. Like especially my kneecaps. I always keep my kneecaps.
Oh yeah, fingers.
Yeah,
Elbow is the newest.
yeah. That might hurt. Yeah. Um, I've clipped my neck once.
Oh yeah, backwards, shoulders up, click.
It's not very
That's how I
comfortable
do
though, is it?
mine. No,
Like I remember I did that once and it clipped like right there and it's not very comfy.
no, that's one of the worst, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Like there's is it like I guess I like the sound of it. It's like very intriguing.
Oh, sorry about that.
That's all right. That dog. That your dog.
Yeah.
What is your dog's name?
Uh, Biscuit, that's my dog. And then the other one is Nipper, but we didn't name her that. We rehomed her and that was her name.
Okay.
So, and
Yeah.
then my sister's got a dog, Toby, who's massive, massive compared to. So we got two Jack Russells and Toby's an Akita cross. So he's huge.
Okay. Uh, that's really cool. I like dogs too. Um, like I like collecting like teddies. I'd like
Yeah. My, I've got, at the moment, I've been collecting sloth teddies
yeah.
because that's the mascot for gastroparesis.
Okay. Like the recent one I got was like it's an England dog teddy,
Yeah.
which is like links in pretty well with like what's happening at the moment, like World Cup and stuff. Like I got it because as a surprise actually, because every month I collect a Doctor Who magazine booklet, and because I like Doctor Who, you might
Yeah.
notice I've got titles in the background there. But yeah, along with that, I got a dog, Teddy. So I do like dogs. Yeah. But with how would you say you're doing at the moment with your chronic illness?
I'm quite stable at the moment. I had a stint in hospital in May. I was there 7 weeks, home for 2 weeks, back in for another 3 or 4 weeks.
Hmm. So yeah, so like so you're doing pretty alright at the moment.
At the moment, I'm quite stable.
That's good.
Yeah.
Especially near Christmas time and everything.
I have been in hospital near to Christmas. And last year I spent Christmas in hospital in A&E with allergic reactions.
Oh,
So hoping this year I'm staying out.
hopefully, fingers crossed. Like it's very busy as well around Christmas as well, isn't it? Like you don't really want to.
It's very busy, very busy.
Yeah. Um. Like, has there ever been like an emergency where you've, with your chronic illness, that you've had to go into hospital really like has it's been an emergency you have to go in there like really fast?
Uh, a few times over the years, like loads. I wouldn't be able to say how many times.
Mm. And with that, did you have to go into the A&E ward or was it somewhere else you had to go?
So I've been in A&E, I've been in like resus a lot.
Mm.
Um, and then um last year I'd been into like I blue lighted in an ambulance. Then I was taken into resus. They settled, managed like my allergic reaction, come back out, had to go back into resus, back out of resus, back into like the majors, and then back into resus. So we were going in and out all night.
That is pretty crazy. That is with but look, why I mention the A&E part is I understand like I've been in a few times by emergencies like with Crohn's chronic illness, and
Yeah.
I always think that people with a chronic illness should not be going to A&E because it's not an injury, is it?
No. In London, my nan works in Dover in the hospital, and one of her friends, I think, son works in a hospital in London. They've got their own unit for chronic illnesses.
That's
So
awesome.
if you need to go into hospital, you go to that instead of A&E.
That should be everywhere, really, shouldn't it?
It should, because us going to A&E, they don't understand it. They don't understand it.
Mm.
And you trying to explain it to them, then like they're like, we have been like made to feel like we're making it up.
Yeah, and we put in a queue, and they may feel like we're trying to skip the queue if other people are waiting in line.
Yeah. Also, like when I go into hospital in A&E, I can't sit in my wheelchair for hours and hours, but they won't let me lay down either. So I'm stuck in the wheelchair,
Mm.
which isn't built to be in there for like hours. I was in my wheelchair for about 10 hours.
It's awful how long we have to wait to get seen. Like, is it like the thing I don't like about it is that I don't like close contact with people, really.
Yeah,
That's partly because of having chronic illness that can make you very like even though it compromise not much of an immune system. And before COVID or anything, I was very still I didn't like people coming close to you, and it's very packed, especially if you're going in the middle of the night where lots of people will probably be there. And I did that once, and like I was waiting 10 hours, and tried not to fall asleep in case you got called, um,
yeah,
and you get moved around a lot as well, um, in the hospital as the night goes on.
yeah. Moved it so many times.
Yeah, it's really bad, and like I guess the best thing my hospital can have is maybe in a room that I can just go and wait in. But there is no section where people with chronic illness people can really go, which I think like the place in Dover that you were talking about. I think there should be more places like that because like we just want to be in and out, don't we? We want to be like it. We may not have to stay in. We may have to stay in hospital for if something's like really bad, but at least we know that sooner rather than waiting like 10 hours and finding that out.
Yeah, like I like if you're left there, you're left. And we were medically expected once, and I was there all day, and I was being so sick. I hadn't had any anti-sickness. I'd barely drained anything in my catheter, and I was so poorly. I had a seizure in my wheelchair, and I came out and onto the floor.
Yeah, it's very hard. Um, like it's hard to get people to understand, really. Um, and like they say, like people will say, like there's this big kind of stigma around chronic illness where you don't look like you have something. And like you say, we go in and we might have a broken leg or we might have not look it. But a lot of it you can't see.
Yeah, the it being invisible is, I think, one of the worst things because you can be so poorly on the inside, but not look that poorly on the outside.
Yeah. And then when you are really poorly, people won't see it.
No,
Yeah. I remember when I was really poorly and lost a lot of weight I did, and like I was at school, it was my last year at school it were. And I used to get a taxi to school, and the escort wondered where I was, and she thought I was on holiday or something. And I said, "No, I wish."
yeah, I'd rather go on holiday.
Yeah. I was supposed to. Well, when I was diagnosed, I was supposed to go on holiday, and that no, it didn't happen. I was very disappointed. It would have been my first holiday on a plane, um, and I couldn't do it. So I waited like a year or two later, but I didn't go to the place I was going to. I went to Scotland, which is very cold, and especially the time I went around October time, um, but yeah, it is I guess when you get diagnosed, it's very hard, isn't it? Like with getting diagnosed with chronic illness.
Yeah, and like as well, being young and in a wheelchair, when we park in like a disabled parking space, the looks that you get, like you get so many looks. My granddad was sworn at one day.
Yeah, it's dreadful. Like I remember I think I went to Waitrose car park, and I w- I of course I am the reason that we have a disabled badge, and like use it and that, and then you have this one person next to us, taking pictures of the car and everything, and saying that you're not like disabled, you can walk, look, you don't look it, and stuff like that. It's just awful. And I imagine lots of people with a disabled car park, like where you can park your car, get the same, and it's awful because like you may be maybe sitting in the car or stuff like that, but it's the same, isn't it? It's like not everyone in a wheelchair will be disabled, but people in a wheelchair are too. So
Yeah,
it's very hard. And you don't want to. You feel like once I went into a disabled toilet and I walked out and like a person in a wheelchair was waiting outside and they gave me probably not very nice looks, and moaning, I think to my mum when I was in there, and saying that they needed to use the toilet. And I think, when you go use a disabled toilet, or they say an accessible toilet now, I think, um, they that you hear people outside, and like you kind of feel like you have to rush yourself in the toilet just so it pleases someone else. And
yeah.
um, I think now I just like to be as long as I can. I don't care. I don't care if they need it.
Well, everyone's got to go to the toilet.
Yeah, I know people use it who are not maybe disabled and they use it maybe for the sake of using it because the public ones aren't free, which I do
Yeah,
understand. But at the same time, there are people that do use it for they have the right to use it.
they do it for the right reasons.
Yeah, like like in part of my kind of I guess chronic illness, you can get I don't know about you, but you can get these just can't wait cards where you can use the toilet. Um,
Yeah, I actually have one of those. I had one of those before I had the catheter.
mm,
Um, so I got one of them. Um, I still have it so that if I need to, I've got one and I can use it and say as well, I need the toilet. You gotta let me go.
yeah, yeah, and like the only thing about them is that they're not like law, are they? Like
No.
it's not like they have to um m- like But I always remember that this one time, I always ask people if I can use their toilet. Maybe that's the thing. I don't like how it is now, where if you go into maybe a restaurant or a pub that has a toilet, and you just go in there and you use it, and they expect you to buy a drink or something when you're going to use it,
Yeah,
and you don't. Sometimes you don't want to have a drink, like sometimes I've sneaked into restaurant just used the toilet and went back out. But it's very like there are situations where I have used I always like to if I do like for example if there's a place that just has a staff toilet, I'll say, "Can I use your toilet? I really need to go." And they say, "No, it's for staff only." But then I say I have my Crohn's, and then sometimes they say they understand, but sometimes they don't. And then I eventually show my pass. There hasn't been actually a situation where I've shown my pass and I haven't been let in, but they don't have to, I guess.
I think it should be law for people because, especially when you're out, you don't want an accident if you need to go. Like,
Yeah.
that's especially when we're younger. Some people would be embarrassed. Some people might pass, just be like, oh, it's fine, I've done it. But you don't want that situation when you're out and about.
No, you don't really. But I guess like I always say well when I talk about this, I always say this funny situation like a couple of years ago when nearby there was an Ed Sheeran concert and I went and knowing that the toilet there's just have those little cubicle toilets, aren't they, in the boxes that you can go in.
Yeah,
Um and I knew that I didn't want to do that and I didn't want to go into a toilet where lots of people were. So there was a McDonald's nearby. And everyone seemed like they had the same thing in mind. um, so you had half a dozen people. Like the queue was nearly going out the door to use the toilet, and then I kind of felt like a royal at the time because I was just skipping ahead, like because people were just using any toilet they could find. And then I had my pass in my hand, so in case no one questioned me, they just looked at me. Um, and if people, I did show it as I was walking down, just so they knew I wasn't pushing in like intentionally. I needed to go. Um, and yeah, that was pretty funny because like I'm just going ahead of everyone else. But yeah, it's very important we go when we need to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with do you take any do you have to take any medication with your chronic illness?
I have a lot. So I have medication for my mental health. I have medication for my bowels. I have medication for sickness.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so I have quite a bit
And is that every day? You gotta take that all the time.
every day yet. So I have like about 10 tablets in the morning, 5 in the evening, and 1 at night.
Okay, quite a lot to remember.
Yeah.
Do you have a tablet box, or is that too much to fit in the tablet box?
I have one of
Uh,
these ones,
okay.
and they just fit in the morning box.
Yeah. So you have a morning box and a night box?
So it all fits in this. So it goes.
Okay.
Then there's like my evening ones and then my night one.
Okay. So that's very that's very good because like you have that just so you can remember. Like I have my own box as well. Um, it's Monday to Sunday. Which it helps, doesn't it? It helps us to kind of remember when we got to take them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like and is that like so? Is that all for your chronic illness? All those tablets that you take?
Most of them, and then I have two of the meds are from like my mental health.
Oh yeah, you said about your mental health. Um, yeah, like I guess mental health can get really impacted with having a chronic illness because of what things can happen and stuff.
Definitely, it impacts my mental health a lot more once I've been in hospital as
Yeah,
well. The hospital stays are one of the worst.
yeah, they're not very nice, are they? I like the food there's not nice either.
No, so I can't eat anything off their menu either. So I have the diet chef. So then they make my meals separate. So it's a bit better food. So it'd be like something that you would get in the restaurant. So it's better food than off the menu that you
Oh,
would normally eat.
okay. Like, what kind of stuff can't you eat then? Like, what do you
So
can't you?
I'm allergic to onion,
Okay,
garlic, and like anything from a bulb.
okay,
So I can't have anything with that in. And then I can't eat fruit or veg,
okay.
which isn't to my liking. I
That is
do
very
miss that
interesting.
quite a bit sometimes.
Yeah, and that is good you say that because well, it's not good, but it's good it's good you mention it because like a lot of people if they don't understand maybe a person with chronic illness they will say you have to eat healthy and like you have to eat vegetables and fruit and not everyone can do that. So like yeah,
I give in sometimes, but then I suffer
mm,
from eating it.
yeah, yeah. I can't like I don't like onions, so I don't really like onions. Like I'm really fussy with like textures and stuff. Like so I couldn't have. I would eat onions with a curry. No, I
Yeah,
wouldn't. Like actually, if they're really big, I wouldn't. Maybe something like maybe a chili con carne or something that they are very little in. But if they're like if I'm eating a curry, um, I couldn't eat it. Like I have to take them out. I'll pick them, and if my because my but when my mum does them, she because she likes onions, and I say to make it easier, I say to her, you can just if to save you picking them out for me before you give it to me, don't do them at all. And she says, no, I like onions, and and then I say I'll just pick them out. Um, but yeah, I I can't have caffeine, so I can't have caffeine. Um, I can't. Spicy food to stay away from as well. So I stay away from some stuff as well, which um it's good and bad, I guess. Like like it's hard because when you can't have something or you had it before maybe, um you have to I guess you have to try and find other things that you can have.
Yeah.
Like what is your what is your favorite kind of things to have like that you can eat?
Well, I eat a lot of mash because it's a soft food, so it's not so bad on my stomach.
Okay.
Um, like I'll have rice potatoes sometimes, or like a jacket potato. I do miss just being able to have something like a KFC or something because that's nice. I liked that, but I can't eat that now. And it's just when you feel rubbish, you want to eat rubbish food.
Yeah. You do, don't you? Like what out of the KFC can't you have?
So I can't have the chicken because it doesn't tell on now what they've brought the allergies out on thing. It doesn't tell you if it contains onion, and they hide onion under the under spices. So if there's spices or flavorings, they put onion in that.
Mm,
So they cover onion under those things. So then things like that I can't eat just in case it has onion in it.
yeah, I never knew. I never thought of that. Like when having a KFC, 'cause you don't, do you? Like you don't think there's onions in the chicken.
No.
Um, but the thing about I don't like KFC as much as I used to because I don't like how they've done it now. Because they changed it all. Like especially the chips. But the chips aren't the greatest with KFC. Um, but yeah, they've made. I think they've made the portions like really small now. When you have one. Um, but I guess there's other ways that you can have. I guess maybe chicken or something without the onions. Um,
Yeah.
I think there are ways. 'Cause
We have to find different things. So I found like a sauce. Like if we make fajitas, we do like barbecue one,
mm,
and we found a sauce that doesn't contain onion and garlic.
yeah,
So we use that on like our dressings for chicken and stuff, and to give it a bit more flavour.
yeah. There's always other ways. Are you okay with beans?
We have to buy the organic Heinz beans because they're the only ones that doesn't have onion or garlic powder in it.
Mm. Yes, it's very hard. Like I didn't think about like so much has garlic and onion in it. And
So much and things you wouldn't expect, like ketchup has it in, mayonnaise has it in.
yeah, like I didn't notice how much like you can have in it. It's very interesting because like you say, like ketchup, um, barbecue sauce, probably.
Yeah.
Um, it's pretty crazy.
Oh, it's in so much.
It's I guess for you it's very annoying though, like how much it's in.
It is because like especially like there's five of us in the house, so we would like where we could buy like cheaper beans and we'd be all right with those, we have to pay like £1 a tin.
Hmm.
So it gets expensive for all of us to have beans.
Yeah, it is like I do like barbecue beans, but it's I guess it's hard if you can't have the onions and everything and like
Yeah.
me as someone who doesn't like onions. Um, and I don't notice it. Like you say, it's very hidden. Like in ketchup, you don't notice it, or beans, or like pretty much. It seems like pretty much most foods have it in. It seems.
Yeah.
But it's like it's very hard, especially like if I were to go to like because I can't have caffeine. Not many people, not play many places you may go out don't have stuff without caffeine in it. Like so for example, if you went to maybe a restaurant and you asked maybe for a decaf Coke or something, they wouldn't have that. They don't supply that kind of stuff. Which is why like I found a place where I can go, not to have that, but they have decaf kind of coffees and kind of stuff like that, which is really cool that they do have that. And I feel like more people should be like accommodating to other things that other people may not be able to have.
Yeah, it should be. Definitely.
Yeah, because like there's not really many other places that have ways they can do things. Maybe if you can't have onions or fruit or vegetable, quite a lot of that stuff is on the menu or included, which there should be other options. Like you said about the Dover hospital having a place where chronic illness people can have. I think that should be like in a restaurant kind of setting as well, where like a food kind of places where that can happen where you can have maybe a menu for people with chronic illness. I know everyone's different, but like certain things that maybe like for a person like us that we can't have, but we can if they make it easy for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. But speaking of said you like roasted potatoes. What you said you like potato? What is your favourite kind of potato to have?
Oh, my favourite is roast potatoes.
Yeah, I like roasted potatoes. I like them a bit burnt though. When they're a bit burnt, they're really nice.
Bit crispy. I love them
Yeah,
crispy.
yeah, a bit crispy. Yeah. Um, What do you think of new potatoes, like the bold ones?
Um, I eat them.
Mm.
I do. I haven't had them for a while because I'm not meant to eat the skin.
Mm. It's not like whenever I've had them, I've just eaten them purely because they're there. Like I wouldn't choose to have them. Like I don't really like them. Like it's almost like I don't know. It doesn't feel right, I guess, when you're eating them because not I like mashed potato though. Mashed potato is nice.
Yeah, cheesy mash
Yeah.
is one of my favourites.
Um. Yeah, like you say with fruit and vegetable, is that does that include all fruit and vegetable, or is there some that you can?
Um, includes most of it, so I can't have a lot of fibre.
Mm,
So that rules a lot of it out. And then there's bits that, so I'm like allergic to watermelon,
mm,
and then so I can't have that. And then I'm allergic to cucumber, so I can't have that. But then I can't have like I couldn't eat like a tomato in a sandwich because of the skin. But if it's like blended for like cheese and tomato pasta, I could eat it that way.
okay. What about soup?
I can't eat a can of soup because it's got onion in it.
Oh yeah,
So, but we've not made one, so we haven't made one yet.
yeah. Like I had a nice soup yesterday. I had butternut soup. It's very nice. But yeah, it's annoying that onions have so much impact on food.
It does. It's in like so much. And then, which is very difficult when you're trying to buy stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like. I never thought about it. Like, especially if you have pasty, that's onion in it. Or like, I went to Cornwall early in the year. I had to get a Cornish pasty because that's what they're famous for. And then, like you say, like for yourself, you wouldn't have to that because it's onions. Um,
Yeah.
which it's not ideal for you to have that. But with how what about lemons? Can you have lemons?
Um, Probably like use the juice, but
Yeah, like because sometimes if you get water, sometimes they put a lemon in it, don't they?
yeah.
Like what are you like with that?
I'd probably be all right with that, to be honest, because I'm not actually eating
Yeah,
eating it, so probably
yeah,
be all right with that.
definitely, definitely. It is good. Well, it's good you're alright with that. Like it does that include like any fruit if they're on the drink, or do they have to be separated for you to have it?
I don't tend to drink a lot of water because if I
Okay.
drink water, I'm sick.
Okay.
So that makes me quite sick.
What can you drink then?
Um, I drink a bit of juice, so I can just deal with that. I tend to drink a little bit of fizzy.
Okay.
So that settles my stomach. That a lot of people find fizzy is better for their stomach than drinking water.
Okay.
There's quite a few people that actually drink fizzy rather than water who have gastroparesis.
Yeah. And is there like a fizzy drink that you really like, or
So I've been drinking like the cherry coke and the fizzy orange from Aldi's at the moment. That's what I've been going between.
yeah, like I do drink fizzy drinks too sometimes. Um, like probably like decaf, but it's still fizzy. Like like it's really interesting because when you get a 7 Up maybe from like a restaurant, or maybe a McDonald's, or something like that, or like it's really interesting because every single one will probably be decaf because it says it really little. It's very tiny writing that it says decaf. So I will have that if I ever went to. That's my answer solved. I always get that if I went to maybe a fast food restaurant or something.
Yeah,
Because Coke, it's very rare to get Coke somewhere out to have that in decaf form. You have to get it maybe from someone like Tesco's, or somewhere that they do that. And it's really interesting. Like more so, last couple of years they've done Pepsi, um, decaf. Um, but yeah, like it's like to some people, they having decaf stuff doesn't that taste loads different than something that's not. But to me, it tastes the same. So I'm okay with tasting it, which is pretty cool. It is pretty cool. Like it's good, but I guess with having chronic illness, you can try new stuff as well that you may not know that you can have that or not. Unless it has onions in it for you, but if something that doesn't, that maybe you could try or something. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But before we go, Millie, I thought we've talked for a while, and we talked about lots of good stuff about hospitals, about food, about drinks, about um lots of things. Sorry. Um, is there any advice that you would like, maybe, or any last words that you want to say before we go?
I always say to someone, so when I've been in hospital, people have said to me, "You go through so much. I feel bad about complaining about my what's wrong with me." But I always say, whatever you've got is a big impact on your own life. So never think that it's not it's not a big thing for you. It might be a small thing for someone else, but for you, it is a big thing.
Definitely.
So don't think that you're worse off. Like you're not the worst.
Hmm.
You're not bad with it because you know you're suffering with it, so it's a big thing on you. Don't I hate it when they say, "Oh, there's someone worse off than you," but right now you feel sometimes you feel that's the worst thing that can happen.
Mm.
But it's both relevant and it is, yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like it's annoying when people say that because you like people have their own kind of story with their chronic illness, and I guess you can't say it's worse out to someone else because you don't know what's going on, I guess, in their life. So it's very private for some people. But if you talk about like us, like people will know, like we have our different stories, different journeys, and I guess everyone has chronic illness you have, and everyone has the chronic illness that I have. Everyone will have a different journey, but there may be similarities between us, between people. But yeah, like we just have our journey, and we just got to go along with it, and hopefully we do all right, and like we can like stay away from the hospitals maybe as long as we can.
Yeah.
But yeah, fingers crossed you're not in at Christmas this year, Millie. New Year's even.
Yeah.
And your birthday early next year. Hopefully not. We don't want a first time for that, do we?
No.
But to anyone listening or watching today, we hope you enjoyed it because we've had really good fun talking about chronic illness as well. But yeah, thank you, Millie. I'm glad. I hope you've enjoyed your first podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you.